There's been a battle back at home for vets to receive proper care. The issue lies in proving to the VA that they've been exposed to burn pits, and that, in fact, has caused their chronic health problems. Now, two Michigan legislators hope to pass a bill that would remove that burden.
We did sign up for the war. We did sign up to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. We just didn't sign up for being poisoned.
Michigan native Kevin Hensley is one of thousands of Iraq war veterans fighting debilitating health problems after returning home.
And to be quite frankly honest with you, I'll be surprised if I make it to 60 years old, and I'm 45 now.
He says it took years for the VA to recognize his chronic lung condition was caused by exposure to open-air burn pits, areas where the military burned undeniably toxic waste with jet fuel.
It's just the burden of proof. You've got to prove and prove and prove and prove again. And right now, the VA is denying 78% of burn pit claims, and they're only proving about 22% of those burn pit claims. So we're trying to curb those numbers.
The burden of proof has stopped thousands of veterans from getting the care they need. Meanwhile, the VA says they are still actively studying airborne hazards like burn pits and maintain health conditions related to it are often temporary. But others argue the evidence shows otherwise.
There's more and more science coming out every day that links some of these very, very specific illnesses with burn pits and exposure to burn pits. But for our veterans, it's really hard to go to the VA and get them to believe you.
Democratic Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin co-sponsored a bill with Republican Representative Peter Meijer that would remove that burden of proof placed on veterans seeking care. Both Slotkin and Meijer spent time overseas and saw burn pits firsthand. Slotkin as a CIA analyst and Meijer as a U.S. Army soldier.
I've had the chance to speak with some who are currently undergoing cancer treatment or in kind of the final stages, unfortunately, from cancers that more than likely were caused by their exposure to those toxic burn pits. And that's really where the need for this legislation comes in.
The legislation would require the VA to formally recognize and concede that veterans who served near burn pits were exposed to airborne hazards. It would also require them to conduct full medical exams on veterans to determine potential connections between their ailments and past exposure. In cases like Hensley's, it could save years of seeking second opinions, time he and many other veterans don't have to lose.
We need our government to be doing everything they can to remove some of the burden on those service members or veterans when they're seeking medical assistance for those ailments.
As many fear, this issue isn't burning out soon.
This is really kind of the Agent Orange of our time, right? It's just like the toxic exposure that so many of our Vietnam vets had. And for some of them, they were fighting for 30 years to get the care that they need. And no one wants to see that. In a bipartisan basis, no one wants to see that.
There is a national burn pit registry so the government can collect data about some of these problems. So far, more than 200,000 troops have filled out that questionnaire. Reporting in Michigan, I'm Aaron Parseghian.